Welcome back to What Do You Know with Nick and Devin. I am Devin.
I'm Nick.
Thanks for being here, everybody. Nicholas.
Devin.
We talked about this a little bit before. And by talked about it, I made a bad joke about burgers, asking if it was 2014.
Yes. That snippet of a conversation we had 2 hours ago?
Yes, that. That was off the pod.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, you are caught up on that conversation. That is all it was.
So I want to get into that a little bit.
Sure. Burgers.
Burgers.
Or 2014.
Burgers.
Got it.
We don't have enough time to talk about 2014.
Yikes.
So burgers.
Uh-huh.
What's your perfect burger?
That's hard. Probably, not to be cliched these days, but probably a smash.
That is pretty popular nowadays.
It is pretty popular. Yeah. I would say like an Oklahoma like onion smash burger, like where you smash the onions into the patty. Have you had that?
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Fuck, it's good.
Yeah.
But like that, toasted bun.
Sure.
American cheese.
Yeah.
I will say, all right, so like Hog Salad, like when I worked at Trivoli, made a really fucking good burger.
Why'd you censor yourself?
I don't know.
Okay.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
I know, it bothers me.
It's more for the effect. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You're over that.
Yeah. I'm going to dub in.
Me saying that?
Yeah.
But I mean, it is just like Kraft, like American cheese.
Hell yeah.
Because like, I think that's really, the way that it melts, like that kind of like not bite, but bite. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need your fucking bullshit like burger that's cooked to medium. Like, if I have to tell you the temperature of burger I want, we've gone too far.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't
agree with you, but I understand what you're saying.
I don't want a gourmet burger like that. I think I either want a smash burger or I want like this has been sitting in a catering dish for the past like 2 hours.
Wow.
You know?
Okay, I don't agree with you there.
See, like I recently, I don't know. I think it's something about a burger where it just like, I don't want something big. I don't want like a thick patty because sometimes it's like they dry out so easily. But if I'm getting it from a catering thing, I already know it's going to be dry.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
fair.
Like if I go to a restaurant and you're like, I'll have it medium, and then I come out and I have to use sauce, then like, why'd you even give this to me? You know what I mean? That's my rant.
Well, that's because you order it medium.
I'm not ordering it. The quality of ground beef they're using, I'm not getting medium rare on my burger.
Oh, well, it won't come out dry if you get medium rare because they always overcook it.
Won't come out dry if I get rare.
That's
or if they
also
can
true.
just cook it well. I don't understand why that's hard. You're a restaurant.
I will agree with you, though, that nothing melts like American cheese.
100%.
It's so fake and so good. I mean, it's not like fake. But, like, it's not, like, sitting in a French warehouse for 20 years.
It's not cheese, though.
Well,
it's not like cheese.
Yeah, it's not sitting in a French warehouse for 20 years.
But it's not, like, I don't think it's even, like, it's not made from...
No, probably not.
Right. I was like, that's, like, shelf-stable. It feels like Velveeta, shelf-stable.
Yeah, it's not even in the cooler. It's next to the crackers at the Jewels.
Crazy. What's your go-to toppings, though? Because it's cheeseburger over hamburger.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
You have to have the cheese.
I'm not a crazy person.
Right. No, I prefer a simplified burger. It's just tomato, lettuce, onion.
I'm letting you talk.
Ketchup. You're making a face after everything.
Yeah. People have to watch to see what my faces are.
Speaking of, you can now watch us on Spotify app.
Yeah,
we're uploading our videos not only to YouTube but to Spotify itself. So if you miss seeing our grimy faces, you can watch us on Spotify while you listen.
Exactly.
Anyway,
you can look at my bags under my eyes.
Yeah. You can see the sweat dripping down.
You can see how many grays has Nick gained over the past week. I'm hit or miss on the lettuce.
Okay.
I don't agree with you on the tomato.
That's weird.
I'm with you on the onion.
Sure.
But like, I don't always go for the caramelized. I kind of want the raw onion.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
That depends on the day for me.
Fair.
Yeah.
Ketchup. Now, are you a mustard or a mayo guy?
I usually only have mayo on like a deli sandwich. I'll do mustard though on a burger.
Mayo on a burger. I know.
I think mayo just adds wetness and no flavor.
Well, and that's why I want the raw onion.
Oh, okay.
Because you already have a juicy burger and you have cheese, and I know I'm putting sauce on it.
Sure.
Or do you do like the Big Mac like sauce? Or do you do like that sort of sauce where it's kind of like Thousand Island sort of aspect over ketchup?
If I have a choice, it's going to be ketchup. If it's the special, like if it's the house sauce, like if I'm at like Benny G's Burger House and this burger comes with Benny G's famous burger sauce, yeah, I'll get the famous burger sauce.
I don't know that if I want Benny G's sauce.
Okay, Benny G isn't a real place.
I don't need his sauce all over my food.
Well, it's going to get all over your face.
That's a different story.
I recently had a burger, though.
So upset.
That had, I've been talking about this burger ever since I had it. It had, for the sauce, it was cream cheese mixed with sriracha. And that was what was on top of it. And it was really good. 10 out of 10.
Where was this?
It was at Pub 212 in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Shout out to Pub 212.
Yeah, big shout out.
They were the only friendly place in town. Yeah, but like next time you make burgers for yourself, cream cheese sriracha. Just try it. Try it.
Okay.
Try it, everybody.
Only cream cheese.
Cream cheese and sriracha.
No, yeah. But like no other ingredient.
I mean, if you want like your lettuce tomato, which I know you don't.
No, I meant in the sauce.
Yes.
Okay.
Salt, pepper to your taste.
All of a sudden, all these other ingredients are coming to the mix.
I didn't know I had to teach you how to fucking
You
cook.
said cream cheese sriracha. You know what I'm doing? I'm putting sriracha and cream cheese and mixing it up. And all of a sudden, you're like salt, pepper. Before I know, you're like, oh, put a little mayo in it. Put a little olive oil in it. What's next?
What's next is my titular question. Nick.
Yes.
Now I'm ticked off. What do you know about bovine spongiform encephalopathy?
Oh, Christ. Can you say that one more time for me?
What do you know about bovine spongiform encephalopathy?
That mad cow disease?
Sure is.
Yeah, baby.
That's why I asked you about burgers.
I'm a thinker. All right. That's I actually don't know much about my. Didn't we talk about mad cow disease in the Falkland Wars?
Kind of,
because that's why they asked about it on your. I almost said drug test. Blood
donation test.
Yeah, that one. I really only know that, and that it's not great for cows or us.
No,
that's it.
Awesome. I'm going to tell you all about it.
Yay!
So, bovine spongiform encephalopathy, or BSE from now on, because I'm not saying that mouthful.
Or, can we just say mad cow disease?
Or mad cow disease.
Okay.
I like BSE better.
Sure. Show me that BSE.
Thank you. Is a fatal brain disease.
Incredible.
In cows, caused by a prion. Prion.
It's a prion.
That's literally my next bullet.
Oh, incredible.
Amazing. It's like you read my notes. Did you read my notes?
Could you imagine?
So what's a prion, he asks. Well, let me tell you. It is a misfolded protein that induces misfolding in normal variants of the same protein, which leads to cellular death.
What?
Does that make sense to you?
No.
So essentially it causes proteins in the brain to fold abnormally. So kind of mutate.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
And then your brain gets all fucked up.
Got it.
And then you die. So these prion diseases caused by the aforementioned prions can affect both humans and animals. They sometimes spread by these diseases sometimes spread by exposure to an already misfolded protein, like in an infected meat product.
Okay.
They can also misfold sporadically due to a genetic mutation, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
But most of the time, the source of the abnormal protein is unknown. But what we do know is that it's fatal and neurodegenerative.
Ooh.
This is very fun and exciting.
But it's very sciencey, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Got you.
Thank you.
All known prion diseases in mammals affect the structure of the brain. It is a neurodegenerative disease, like I said, so anything that has to do with a prion disease is going to fuck up the brain.
Got it.
Diseases are progressive, and they unfortunately have no known effective treatment. But some examples of prion diseases besides BSE: Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, ALS, and multiple system atrophy, or MSA. They're all linked to prions and sometimes referred to prion-like diseases.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh, yeah.
Aren't we close with dementia or Alzheimer's? Aren't we like close to a cure for that?
I don't know for certain. I remember reading a couple headlines that they were close to a few different, at least, treatments. But
it's like cancer. Like we know how to cure cancer, but Big Pharma.
Big Pharma causes a lot of issues.
Exactly.
I don't know about the cure for cancer, but they cause a lot of issues.
I'm just saying. I've heard on the webs.
Okay. Reddit?
Twitter's been keeping me up.
You mean X?
Yeah. Sorry. Excuse me.
Thank you. We don't want Elon to be here and
formerly known as
jump and trip on himself.
Oh, Christ. A toddler.
Come at me. So the official term for these prion diseases are transmissible spongiform encephalopathies, or TSEs. Some of the bigger TSEs that are hypothetically caused by prions are scrapie in sheep. That's SCRAPIE.
Okay.
In sheep, the farm animal. Chronic wasting disease in deer. Bovine Spongiform Encephalopathy in cattle. And Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease in humans.
I've heard that.
That's what normally, when we refer to mad cow disease in humans, that's what we official is Creutzfeldt-Jakob.
Got it. Okay. Also, I always feel like it's sad, like when you see an animal with like something like this, because they don't know what's happening, right? And they're just like deteriorating.
Yeah, the videos of, like, for example, like the videos of coyotes or fox with rabies, like kind of just like attacking a glass door because they just have lost their mind.
Right.
It's just so, one, horrifying, but two, sad.
Sad.
Because they've just lost all function and control of their body.
Right.
It's freaky.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this isn't any more fun than that.
Buckle in, folks.
Buckle in. So BSE was, I'll try to make it fun.
I can't wait.
BSE was first identified in cows in 1986 in the UK.
Oh, now we get the Atlantic accent.
Yeah. I'm not doing an announcer's test. So the scary part about this disease is that it takes several years for symptoms to show.
Oh.
So you can be affected with it, it can incubate, and you won't know until it's too late. Because BSE can incubate in its victims anywhere from 2 to 8 years before it shows itself to the farmer.
Oh my God.
Right. So those cows that were part of the first two cases back in 86 were probably infected sometime in the 70s. It just takes that long to show itself.
Wow.
Which is insane. There have been a few different symptoms that show up that all affect the cattle's behavior. So these, you can tell a cattle has BSE once these symptoms start to show up. So you may observe the cattle adopt an abnormal gait. I thought I was going to say adopt a woodland creature. Nope, they just walk funny.
This is how he makes it fun, folks.
Yeah. Experience tremors and hyper-responsiveness to certain stimuli.
Like tremors?
Yeah.
No, like the underground worms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Experience tremors. Worms show up. Weight loss, decreased milk production, which can also be caused by weight loss. Lameness, ear infections, and abnormal teeth grinding.
Oh.
The cow's attitude can also change and start to show, because your brain's getting all fucked up. So, of course, your attitude's going to be
deteriorating.
Right. So they might start to show aggression, anxiety, nervousness, frenzy, or just an overall change in their day-to-day temperament.
Oh. Horrifying.
Yeah. Other not as common signs for BSE would be have been observed to include persistent pacing, rubbing, or licking. Now, kind of like what I said earlier, unfortunately, like rabies, once these symptoms begin to show themselves, it's too late. The cow's condition will quickly deteriorate. Anytime from 2 weeks to 6 months after the symptoms show up, the cattle will fall into recumbency, coma, and then death. Recumbency is like lying down and can't get up.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're still active, and you're still aware. But you're just stuck. You just can't get up.
Sure.
And in coma, you're no longer aware.
Yeah.
And then death, you're dead.
I was confused for a moment.
I saw it. I saw the question marks pop up like
he's missing one though. Yeah.
Now, reminder: this disease hangs out for years before these symptoms show up, so it has time to fuck up your system.
Sure.
So there was an outbreak from those first 2 cattle in the 80s.
Okay.
That was the start of it, and it kind of grew and grew and peaked into the 90s.
Okay.
I'll get into a little bit more of that later, but it is believed that the outbreak of BSE came from cattle eating feed that contained byproducts from the remains of other cattle who had previously spontaneously developed the disease through a misfortunate genetic mutation. They didn't consume any infected meat previously, but it was just one of those crazy things in nature that just some type of weird mutation happened. Something misfired as something was developing, and the protein got misfolded.
That's, first of all, crazy. Second of all, why were they feeding dead cattle to other cattle?
Well, it was kind of this new practice that I get into it a little bit later, but it was essentially this newer practice of only in the UK though. It was really only this thing of, well, let's use up what we have and kind of supplement their feed with dead cattle. Or with byproduct, the things we can't sell to the butcher, and reduce, reuse, recycle.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
It's like that one serial killer who like killed people and then like fed it to the homeless.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Very. So the original 2 ate the byproduct of some infected cow, and it was hypothesized that it was even at one point hypothesized that the cattle had eaten scrappy infected sheep. Scrappy infected sheep feed, but that was later dismissed. And so it was most likely originated from cattle eating tainted feed. But the event in the 70s that originally infected the cows could not be officially identified.
Got it.
We have a couple different hypotheses, nothing confirmed.
Got it. Okay.
So like I said, there is no cure or vaccine for this disease. Once infected, that's it.
Yeah.
But what if a cattle is processed before symptoms show up? What if they're killed?
Yeah.
Before symptoms show up? The prions that cause the disease, those proteins, can't be destroyed or broken down if the beef or whatever is cooked. It's always present.
Oh, okay.
This can lead to the transmission of the disease to humans.
Crazy.
When you have a burger that was made with infected beef.
Oh, good. I'm glad that you really, Thanks for the next time that we all want to eat a burger, yeah.
So variant Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, or VCJD, is what happens when BSE is transmitted to humans when they've consumed tainted meat.
Got it.
Taint. According to some studies, the most high-risk meat parts to eat are the brain, spinal cord, or digestive tract. So things that aren't very common, at least in American culture's food.
Sure.
For the common man, at least.
Sure. Guess my people just aren't common to you.
Guess you.
Go ahead.
What'd you say?
Said I guess my people just aren't common to you.
No.
I guess only the white man is common.
Look, McDonald's isn't making brain burgers
that you know of.
That's true. So those parts of the cow are what contained higher traces of BSE, as it is a neurological disease. So the parts of the brain, the spinal cord, the digestive tract would contain it from the cow's eating infected byproduct.
Sure. Okay.
So however, though, any tissue, any part of the cow can be involved in the transmission, since it is a protein, and those can kind of go anywhere they need to in the body.
Yeah.
Now, some bad news. Some more bad news.
I was like, yes, it's been happy since.
VCJD, like BSE, is still a fatal brain disease. Symptoms are similar to those that show in cows. Psychiatric problems, behavioral changes, painful sensations like hypersensitivity. And later down the road of illness, the afflicted may show signs of poor coordination, dementia, and involuntary movements, tremors, worms. And just like the infected cattle, it may take years for symptoms to show once VCJD enters your system. And once symptoms show, average life expectancy is just a short 13 months.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's crazy. I've had some mood swings.
No, your coordination is terrible.
Yeah.
And you don't remember anything.
Truly. We're checking off some boxes here. This is not good.
Sorry, we've already done 67 episodes, so you haven't been able to remember shit the whole time.
We need to crank out some more before you go. All right,
we got 13 months.
Yeah.
Yikes. VCGAD can still be transmitted to other humans, by the by. Since most of the population isn't eating human, we don't have to really worry about transmission that way.
Correct.
But VCJD can be transmitted through blood transfusions. Regulations were eventually put into place for people potentially in contact with BSE to prevent the spread of VCJD.
Nice.
Sorry for all the acronyms.
But
I really don't want to say Bovine Spongiform Encephalopathy every bullet point.
That fair. I don't want you to either.
But don't worry, by the way. There's a negligible risk and no evidence that supports CJD, the regular Creutzfeldt disease, Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease, is sexually transmitted. So you can still import your donor sperm from Scandinavian countries. Was that a worry back in the day? It sure freaking was. I don't know if it's still in place, but the FDA banned the import of any donor sperm that came from high-risk countries. The U.S. FDA, by the way.
Dang.
Yeah, and people were pissed because they were like, I want my donor sperm to have some hot Scandinavian in it.
Yeah, I want it to be tall and blonde and blue-eyed.
Whoa there.
I can say it. I'm a Jew.
Yikes. All right, so let's get into a little bit more about the details of the epidemic of BSE, or as the news called it, mad cow disease.
It was very SpongeBob.
Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, the first cases of BSE showed up in 1986. And in the UK alone, from those initial infections to 2015, over 184,000 cattle were diagnosed with BSE. And that's just in the United Kingdom.
Dang.
The peak of this madness was in 1993 when there were nearly 1,000 new cases per week. And in total, 35,000 herds in the UK were affected by this outbreak.
That's insane.
Very much so.
I mean, not only the fact that they were affected, but the fact that there were 35,000 herds in the UK.
Fair.
So there's just like cows running everywhere. Christ.
Delivering their own milk.
Yeah. Sir.
So from the UK, BSE was first reported in Ireland. Kind of makes sense. In 1989. That was right there.
Right.
And then reached Portugal and Switzerland in 1990.
I feel like skipped a few countries along the way.
Yeah, it just must have been how
transport
they traded. Yeah. And by 2005, 24 different countries were reporting cases of BSE, with most of them being contained in Europe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The first case of BSE in North America showed up in 1993 when an infected cow was imported into Canada from the UK.
Oh, son of a bitch.
This one case, this one cow most likely caused the reported 19 additional cases in Canada beginning in 2003.
Sounds like Typhoid Mary.
Yeah.
But the cow version.
Right. Now, luckily, the United States had very minimal cases. I remember hearing news stories about this when I was growing up. Everyone was freaking out. But the U.S. had pretty few cases relative to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And even during like the height of the BSE epidemic, only 7 cases of BSE have been detected since 2003, with 6 of those 7 being atypical.
Awesome.
Now, a couple of questions.
1.
Why so few cases? And what's atypical BSE?
Off the top of my tongue.
I got you.
It's not the phrase.
No, but
you went with it. Thanks.
Yes, and. So, atypical BSE. Mm-hmm. Atypical in its truest form means outside of the norm. Mm-hmm. Atypical. So, the norm in this instance being BSE caused by contaminated feed. The 6 atypical cases in the U.S. were not caused by contaminated feed and most likely just a sporadic random chance illness.
Dang.
Yeah, just randomly popping up, either through genetic mutation or just happenstance.
Weird.
Very. So, we can rule out the contaminated feed and answer my other question all in one go. Why so few cases?
Yes.
If you've ever driven through the Midwest, especially Illinois, you'll find plenty of farms with corn, obviously, is the first thought, but also soy. Soybean meal is incredibly cheap and incredibly plentiful throughout the U.S. and is used as an additive in animal feed.
Okay.
What's even cheaper than soybean meal is cottonseed meal.
Oh.
So between the two crop byproducts, the soybean meal and the cottonseed meal, there's never been no need to add animal byproducts to our cattle feed.
Okay.
It's expensive and much more of a common practice in Europe than it is here. Plus, we were able to implement regulations after the initial case of BSE was cataloged in the UK, but before we saw any in North America. So that those regulations prohibited the feeding of mammalian byproducts to ruminants, which are grazing herbivores like cattle and goats.
Got it. Okay.
So we saw what was happening. It was like, okay, shut this shit down.
Yeah.
It wasn't common practice anyway to start with, but
double down. Yeah.
So many countries banned the importation of beef from countries that reported cases of BSE, understandably.
Of course.
This included bans on both the UK and the US, which was a huge hit on the beef industries of the respective countries.
Yeah.
Some of the bans lasted over 10 years, and one ban was recently lifted in 2012 after 16 years being in place.
Wow.
And understandably, because it takes so long for the disease to show itself. So they kind of just wanted to be safe. I get it.
That's fair.
So because of these bans, U.S. beef exports dropped from 1.3 million tons in 2003 to 322,000 tons in 2004.
Which I think is fine. I just I just feel like we waste so much food that I'm just like, I don't think we ever need to mass produce 1.3 million tons of beef.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're actually taking that and giving it to like world hunger victims, like, what are we doing?
No, I've said it before and I'll say it a million times again. We create enough food to feed everybody. We just don't give it away to you.
Because you're not paying for it.
Because corporate greed.
Right.
So, it dropped to 322,000 tons. Once things got in control, though, we saw numbers increase, and by 2017, we reached the 1.3 tons of beef export we saw in 2003. So we're back on top, baby.
Yeah, baby.
USA.
USA.
So,
Oh, sorry.
no, we're not there.
Okay. It's not the Olympics anymore, everyone.
Obama's not in office right now, all right? All right, so how did we control it? Is it still controlled today? Short answer, yes.
Awesome.
Here's the good news.
Tell me more.
There are still the occasional case that pops up every now and then, but BSE is nearly eradicated.
Love it.
And when a case does pop up, there are strict measures in place to ensure that the infected meat doesn't get out to the public or elsewhere. You can test the beef before it's processed and after it's been processed.
Nice. Sounds like the bubonic plague. So close to being eradicated, but still around.
That's fair. True.
You're like, and that was the comparison I was going to make.
Yeah, for sure. So the first obvious control measure once it was discovered that this disease came from eating BSE-infected cows was to ban making feed out of those cows.
Yeah.
Duh. This ban spread across several countries, which helped drastically reduce the number of BSE cases reported. There was also a focus on culling sick animals. To prevent them from being processed and entering the food chain. So once it was discovered that they were sick, you led them behind the barn and they were culled.
You do a little old yeller.
Yeah. The UK even implemented an age limit on cattle and culled any that didn't meet that criteria to be sure it could not spread since they had the worst record of cases.
What do you then do with that cattle? Burn it?
Yeah, dispose of it somehow, because you'll have to burn it and then remove those, because you'll just have to I feel like if you completely destroy the meat, the proteins and whatnot won't have anything to thrive off of,
right?
I would assume, but I would be worried to have like a pile of infected ash, essentially.
Yeah,
I don't know,
maybe acid.
Maybe like in Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
just like drums of acid. Yeah, you get it.
Yeah, but I'm not too sure how they did that.
Sure,
I didn't really want to. That
do
was
more
my
research.
Interest,
yeah, that's right.
Those already said enough. So when beef was traded, there were regulations in place in different countries to ensure that meat from and around the spinal column and brain were never imported. Since the prions really affected the nervous system, like I said before.
Sure.
So, that was the BSE epidemic. And now we know why I'm asked on my blood donation pre-screening questionnaire, quote, from 1980 through 1996, did you spend time that adds up to 3 months or more in the UK, United Kingdom countries of England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, the Isle of Man, the Channel Islands, Gibraltar, or the Falkland Islands? I am also asked, quote, from 1980 to the present, did you receive a blood transfusion in France, Ireland, England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, the Isle of Man, the Channel Islands, Gibraltar, or the Falkland Islands? End quote. It's to prevent the spread of BSE and VCJD.
Didn't we do this already?
We did. But it was in my notes, so I was going to read it again because I took time to write it out. And thank you, everybody, for taking your time to listen to this episode about Bovine Spongiform Encephalopathy. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can find us everywhere on the internet at WDYK_podcast. That's a fucking segue. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks. Like, subscribe. Text me your fun topics. Let me know what your favorite burger is.
Text me your BSE. Okay.
Gross. All right. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Dad.
Okay. Bye-bye now.
Bye.